Imagine this for a moment. You are sitting in the left seat of a small aircraft, hands resting lightly on the yoke, the engine humming steadily in front of you, the runway stretching out into the distance. You have logged hours, gained experience, and earned the title of private pilot. But aviation is not something you ever truly finish learning. Skills fade, habits change, and confidence without currency can quietly turn into danger. This is where one of the most important, yet often misunderstood, parts of general aviation comes in the flight review. It is not a punishment, not a test meant to fail you, and not just paperwork to satisfy regulations. A flight review is a moment of reflection, learning, and renewal, a chance to sharpen your skills, refresh your judgment, and reconnect with the responsibility that comes with controlling an aircraft in the sky. Today, we will slowly, clearly, and deeply explain what a flight review is, why every private pilot needs it, how it works, what happens during it, and why it might just save your life one day. A flight review is a regulatory requirement designed to ensure that pilots remain competent, current, and safe. In many countries, including under FAA regulations, every pilot, acting as pilot in command, must complete a flight review every 24 calendar months. This applies to private pilots, commercial pilots, and even airline transport pilots when flying outside of structured airline operations. The goal is simple, but powerful. Aviation safety through continuous learning. Many new pilots misunderstand the flight review and think of it as an exam. In reality, it is a training event, not a pass or fail test. There is no score, no examiner trying to catch your mistakes, and no predefined checklist that you must perfectly complete. Instead, the flight review is tailored specifically to you, your experience level, the type of aircraft you fly, the kind of operations you perform, and the areas where improvement is needed. The flight review has two main components. 1. Ground training. 2. Flight training. Let's begin with the ground portion, because safe flying always starts on the ground. During the ground portion, a certified flight instructor CFI will sit down with you and discuss key areas of aviation knowledge. This typically includes airspace rules, weather interpretation, regulations, aeronautical decision-making, aircraft systems, and emergency procedures. The instructor may ask scenario-based questions such as, what would you do if weather deteriorates mid-flight? How do you handle a lost communications situation? What are your personal minimums? These questions are not meant to embarrass you. They are designed to evaluate how you think as a pilot. One of the most important elements discussed during the ground portion is risk management. Aviation accidents rarely happen because of one big mistake. They usually happen due to a chain of small decisions, each one slightly unsafe, that eventually leads to disaster. The flight review gives pilots a chance to break that chain before it ever forms. Instructors focus heavily on aeronautical decision-making, situational awareness, and recognizing hazardous attitudes such as overconfidence, impulsivity, or resignation. After the ground discussion, the review moves into the flight portion. This is where the instructor flies with you and observes how you operate the aircraft in real conditions. The flight typically includes normal and crosswind takeoffs and landings, basic maneuvers, navigation, stall recognition, and recovery, slow flight, and emergency procedures. Again, this is not about perfection. It is about safe control, good judgment, and smooth operation. One critical thing to understand is that the instructor is not expecting you to fly like a student pilot or like an airline captain. You are expected to fly like a competent private pilot, with sound judgment, proper checklist usage, clear communication, and respect for limitations. If you make a mistake, the instructor will often use it as a teaching moment rather than an automatic failure. If weaknesses are identified, and almost every pilot has them, the instructor may recommend additional training before endorsing the flight review. This does not mean you failed. It means the system is working exactly as intended. Aviation is unforgiving, and the flight review exists to catch skill degradation before it becomes dangerous. Another important aspect of the flight review is confidence rebuilding. Some pilots fly frequently, while others may take long breaks due to work, finances, or personal reasons. Returning to the cockpit after months or years away can be intimidating. The flight review provides a structured, supportive environment to regain proficiency and comfort in the air. The review also encourages pilots to stay updated with changes, aviation regulations, procedures, Airspace classifications and technology evolve constantly. GPS navigation, glass cockpits, a DSB, and digital weather tools have transformed general aviation. The flight review ensures pilots understand and correctly use modern systems rather than relying on outdated habits. It is also worth noting that a flight review is not the same as a check. There is no designated examiner, no strict test profile, and no automatic disqualification for minor errors. The instructor's role is that of a mentor, not a judge. In fact, many experienced pilots treat the flight review as an opportunity to learn something new, practicing unfamiliar airports, refreshing instrument basics, or exploring advanced weather concepts. From a safety perspective, statistics consistently show that pilots who actively train, review, and seek feedback are far less likely to be involved in accidents. The flight review is one of the few moments when a pilot steps back and allows another professional to evaluate their flying honestly. This outside perspective is invaluable, especially in an activity where self-assessment alone can be dangerously misleading. Ultimately, the flight review is not about meeting a regulation. It is about respecting the privilege of flight. Every time a pilot takes off, they are responsible not only for themselves, but also for passengers, people on the ground, and the reputation of aviation as a whole. The flight review reinforces that responsibility and reminds pilots that learning never stops. So, the next time you hear the words flight review, don't think of it as an obstacle or an inconvenience. Think of it as a mirror, a moment to look honestly at your skills, your habits, and your mindset as a pilot. Aviation does not forgive complacency, but it deeply rewards preparation, humility, and continuous learning. A flight review is not there to ground you. It is there to keep you flying safely, confidently, and responsibly. Every great pilot, from weekend private flyers to airline captains, shares one truth: the sky demands respect. The flight review is a reminder of that respect, a chance to renew your commitment to safety, sharpen your abilities, and continue the journey of becoming a better pilot than you were yesterday. Because in aviation, the most dangerous words are, "I already know this." And the most powerful ones are, "Let's review."